Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, Jaya Guru Raya.
Rama 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 Ram, 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 Rama Rama भगवान श्री योगी रामसूरतकुमार की जय। सर्वं योगी रामसूरतकुमारार्पणमस्तु। This is time to celebrate this wonderful grace of Bhagwan that has made us sing together for 1 hour his powerful Nama. And they have been offered as Nama Pushpas, the Nama flowers, at the lotus feet of Bhagwan. We have been having glimpses of how the glory of the name, the story of the glory of the name, how the grace comes to our help, and so intelligently at that, so economically, because I have never seen Bhagwan use extra energy. Whatever was required for a work, he would use exactly that. I never seen him waste extra energy on anything. And he would also say only one thing at a time, which means when we sing the namas, our entire being must be put in that. We are not to think of something that happened in the past or something that might happen in the future or what somebody said, how this happened, that happened. We simply sing the name and put our mind only on that, even if you don't have devotion, even if you don't have faith. Just putting our being in it is important. So now, today we shall see something different. Often, Bhagwan had said that he would come in the form of a butterfly. He had assured some devotees from far-off places when they came with great difficulty all the way to Tiruvannamalai for his darshan. He said, "Why do you spend so much money and with such great difficulty? You call out to me. This beggar would come there." Then she asked him, "But how would I know that you have come?" And that's when he laughed and said, "This beggar would come in the form of a butterfly and you would know." The lady to whom he said that, her daughter had come a few years back, and she narrated the whole story, how it started. There was no talk of butterfly before that. Now, today we know for sure that when we think of Bhagwan, or when we sing His name, or when we talk about His grace, His Leelas, we could be sure that a butterfly would be appearing somewhere out of nowhere. Shri Muthukumar of Odaikulam, Pollachi, has a very interesting story to tell us. He says, from 2015, that probably even before that, every year in June, in the month of June, he would go to Anandashram with some friends, devotees of Yogi Ramsuratkumar Bhagwan, would spend 3 days in Anandashram, singing Ram Nam very happily, blissfully, and in the afternoons, whenever he got time, he would go around the Pradhan Mandir of Anandashram, chanting, singing Yogi Ramsuratkumar Nama. He calls the main temple as Pradhan Mandir. That's what it means in Hindi. So he says that once in 2015, with some friends, devotees of Bhagwan, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, and a family friend, they are Shiva Bhaktas, very close to him by name Manohar, they would worship only Lord Shiva, and they would sing only Shiva's name. But somehow, by Yogi Ramsuratkumar's grace, they were convinced when Muthukumar told them to come with him to Anandashram, that they would surely enjoy the divine atmosphere there. So they made it to Anandashram, and Muthukumar says, even before I read about Muthukumar's opinion, in 2019, I had gone to Anandashram. It was the centenary celebrations of Swami Satchidananda. And as soon as I entered, I had a beautiful, wonderful impact of such happiness, ananda. We can't call it even happiness. It's ananda, a blissful transportation to another world. I felt the impact of Papa Ramdas' Ananda. And when I moved with those people, the devotees in the ashram, Anandashram, I saw Mataji Krishnabai's love in their eyes, in their gestures, in their loving closeness to us, the kinship they maintained with us. And of course, in everybody's seva there, I certainly saw Swami Satchidananda's presence, the way he had served. I had heard stories that Swami Satchidananda was available at any time, even in the night, in the middle of the night. He might be having a terrible headache, which he suffered from often. But if there is a demand for his presence somewhere, he would rush to the spot, no matter what, and would be at his dedicated service to Papa Ramdas. There are many stories of how he served Papa, Mataji and Swamiji, and of course, he was the Swamiji then. The two of them, they were his two eyes. I saw that dedicated service. in the people, the devotees of Anandashram. And it is no surprise that Muthukumar felt also the same. So he goes on to describe how he felt the blessing of Papa Ramdas, the love of Mataji Krishnabhai, and the service of Swami Satchidananda, and the guidance of Swami Muktananda. Now, the first time, after seeing the atmosphere there, the Shiva devotees, they were very impressed by the atmosphere there, the divine atmosphere the Ram Nam had created, and the dedication, the devotion of those people there. So they started to join spontaneously. They began to sing Ram Nam. Now after 3 days of wonderful, devoted chanting of Ram Nam, and in between Yogi Ramsuratkumar's name, the time came for their departure. So when they went down the steps of Panchavati, the autos were ready for them. So Muthukumar and his friends from Chennai, they took up one auto and started from there. His friend's family said, we would take the next auto and follow you soon. Please go to the station, railway station. So they pushed off from there. And then after some time, those people had also arrived at the railway station. But he saw them beaming with so much happiness, extraordinary. Their faces were radiant, ecstatic. And he wondered what had happened. And Shri Manoharji said, look, we had darshan of Lord Shiva just before we started. Now Muthukumar's turn to be surprised. He said, how come? And then Shri Manoharji explained, as they were about to start, they had been singing Ram Nam all the while, but still they longed for Shiva's darshan. So just before they started, they were going to get into the auto, and near the visitors' room, they saw a van parked. It was open in the back, and there was a Shivalinga. They could not believe their eyes. It was Ram Nam, Ram, everywhere, 3 days, continuously. And now they landed with a Shivalinga out of nowhere. Of course, they became ecstatic. They went and worshipped Lord Shiva. They felt absolutely overwhelmed. And they were so happy that Papa Ramdas fulfilled their longing. So when Manoharji described all that, he also added one sentence extra. He said, I felt very bad that you could not have darshan of Lord Shiva. This Shivalinga was being taken to some temple nearby, and those people suddenly it struck them to come to Anandashram to go around once before going to the temple, and that's how these people sighted it. Now, when Manoharji said, we felt very bad that you could not have darshan of Lord Shiva, Muthukumar listened to it silently. Now there was longing in his heart. Okay, they had darshan of their Ishta Devata. We also sang Ramna. We sang Yogina. But we did not get darshan of Yogi Ji. Not even butterflies. So his heart began to lament. Just then, minutes after, he spotted one man some 30 feet away, standing before some people and begging. He did not know what made him look there and how he spotted him. Now this man was very dirty. He was wearing a dirty shirt, a dirty dhoti. He had beard and ruffled hair. And as Muthukumar began to look deeply at him, he felt it was Bhagwan himself. And suddenly that man started to come towards him. The beggar who was begging. He came straight towards Muthukumar, looked into his eyes and begged. Muthukumar instantly knew it could be no one else but Bhagwan. Hadn't he longed for his darshan? Why would that man come straight to Muthukumar, stand close and look at him penetrating? And Muthukumar gave some money, whatever he had, with a biscuit packet. And of course there was Srimati Bhuvaneshwari was also very happy. She also understood instantly it was none other than Bhagwan. And they were so happy. Muthukumar noted something else also. In the days of Sannadhi Street, one period, Bhagwan had a tiny cloth tied to one of his legs near the ankle. Now this man had something very similar. It was unmistakable that a beggar should have a similar cloth tied to his ankle, just as Bhagwan used to do. So now, after this, the man, just as Bhagwan would do, folded his hand in front of his face by way of thanking them and then walked away straight. There was one thing, because of the cloth tied, there must have been something, a wound, just as Bhagwan had in those days. So the man's walk, the gait, was not straight. He was a little limping. And as he walked away, there was only one pathway, and it was long and straight. He started to walk away. Immediately, Muthukumar remembered that Bhagwan had given darshan and that Manoharji had missed it. So Manoharji was just nearby, and then he went to him and said, "Look, our Bhagwan had come, just see, he's going there." And he turned his head and he found the man had disappeared. He was limping, walking slowly, and the path was long and straight, and still the man was not to be found anywhere. He had simply disappeared. Muthukumar now knew for sure that it was none other than Bhagwan, though there were differences. Just as they missed Shivalinga, now these people missed out on Bhagwan's darshan. And just when Muthukumar was contemplating it, a butterfly, a beautiful butterfly, appeared out of nowhere. It came straight to them and moved around, as if to confirm once again that it was none other than Bhagwan Shri Yogi Ramsuratkumar. So you see, they were in Anandashram singing Rama. These people's mantra, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, the Shiva Bhakta's family, Om Namah Shivaya. And they had darshan of both the deities. So it goes to show that it's one divinity in different forms and different names, no matter what mantra you are chanting, your pure wishes would be fulfilled. God would come in that form desired most by you. It's one divinity and one blessing. Now he goes on to describe another experience of his. That is in 2016, the next year, again, he took some people to Anandashram for staying for 3 days. And of course, the first day was happily over, singing Ram Nam, and in between singing Yogi Ramsuratkumar's name, going round, enjoying the divine atmosphere there and the hospitality of those loving devotees there. The second day morning, they had breakfast about 7. No, they just came out of the Pradhan Mandir after Arati to Papa Mataji's. And then, when they came down the steps of Panchavati towards the dining hall, near the visitor's room, there is an electric post cemented to the ground. Suddenly, Muthukumar spotted a butterfly there, and immediately he sent the other devotees, "You please go to the dining hall, I will follow you soon." So he came closer and observed the butterfly. He says, there are butterflies and butterflies, yes, but there is a difference when Bhagwan appears as a butterfly. The ordinary butterfly would be very restless, flying here and there with no sense of direction. It would not come anywhere near us and move away very fast in search of another flower. But when Bhagwan comes as a butterfly, it acts with a sense of direction, a sense of purpose. It would come straight to the devotee, go around the devotees, settle down somewhere. If there is a message to pass on, it would act accordingly. These are the observations of Muthukumar, and I agree with him. Bhagwan always makes it a point to let people know that he is present. So this butterfly was going round the electric post and finally settled down on the cement. And after that it just wouldn't budge. So as usual, Muthukumar began to chant Yogi Ramsuratkumar Nama. With folded hands, he worshipped the butterfly in his heart. And because there is no movement, it seemed to have settled down there for quite some time. He moved away from there towards the dining hall. Now, 15 minutes after this, he got a phone call from Chennai. He was already wondering why Bhagwan should settle down near an electric post. Now, 50 minutes after, a friend, a police inspector, a close friend of Muthukumar, rang up from Chennai saying, "Muthukumar, I have some bad news for you. You see, the colony where your shop and other shops are there is a fire accident, a terrible fire accident. Many shops have been burnt down. I would like to know where your shop is. I would go personally there and find out how much the damage is. They are still burning. There's a lot of smoke as well. Now you please tell me how to get the key for your shop. I'll go and see if I can save anything there. Then Muthukumar, of course, was shocked. He did not expect it, but then right from the moment he saw butterfly settling down near the electric post, he felt something in his heart, but he never knew it would be such a shock. So he said, okay, I would phone up to my uncle, he would come there to the spot, and then you can go with him. And then they reported, his uncle reported, after some time, that the whole line of shops, Muthukumar gave the description of the shop. There were about 10 shops in one line on the western side of the colony, and the inspector assured that it was that was burning. Now his uncle phoned up to say that most of the shops had been burnt down. So his friends here in Anandashram, the people who came with him, said, Muthukumar, it's such a bad news, we are very sorry for it. You can start immediately, you don't have to wait, because the next day, evening only they were to start. So they said, we would come as per our plan, but you can go straight away. Muthukumar says that when he sees a butterfly, when he chants the name of Bhagwan, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, somehow he feels a strange peace in his heart, that he doesn't become restless. And true to that, now also, even after the shocking news, he did not become restless, he did not become so deeply disturbed or anything. He felt, okay, Bhagwan had come here and given me an indication. The same Bhagwan would also look after my shop. My going there is not going to do anything. Bhagwan is there. He would do what is needed. So he told his friends, no, I will continue with you people and join you tomorrow evening for Chennai. So the next day, of course, they all left for Chennai. And Muthukumar rushed to his place, to the shop. To his surprise, to his wonder, he found the 3 shops on the left side of his shop were burnt down. The ceilings had exploded. The concrete walls had broken open, and the rods inside were showing here and there. A very pathetic sight, and many of the things were burnt down, charred. But when he went to his shop, the fourth shop, he had put up an iron shutter. For some strange reason, it was an iron shutter that he had put up there, and the fire did not go inside. Instead, the iron had become iron hot. The shutter was so hot, but it prevented the fire getting inside. When he opened and went inside, he found again, to his great delight, the Rexing sofa was very much as it was. Nothing had happened to that. And the Ramanama bundles, he had kept 1 crore of them, all wrapped well in cloth, and that had been put in a fiber box. The fiber, out of this heat, could not stand it, and it had melted. But the cloth was as we had left, and the Nama books were totally unaffected. And then there was this picture of Bhagwan coming down the steps near the tank in Arunachaleshwara Mandir. He had garlanded it. There was a jasmine garland that he had left on it, when he left the place. That was not burnt down. It had become withered. So the withered mala was hanging there and the picture was untouched. The heat did not do anything at all. The fridge, of course, the front door, the side doors, they had all melted because of the heat. And there were books of Divya Prabandham and Sharanagatam issues. There was this black smoke on them, a layer of black smoke. But for that, nothing much had happened to any of them, no damage. He could easily see around. Of course, the lights, the bulbs, they had all exploded. The damage was less than 1 lakh for him, whereas in all other shops, it was nearly 4 lakhs they, or 5 lakhs, 4 to 5 lakhs they had to spend to renew everything. And the old stuff they had lost completely. Later the police investigation showed that the third shop, the tailor shop from his, they had used a machine with a motor and they had overworked it. The machine was running for so long. It had become so heated, and in the switch box some wire had melted, and then there was the leakage of current, and that what has caused this damage to all the other shops as well. And suddenly, when he saw that, he remembered the electric post that he came across in Anandashram, and Bhagwan settling down on the cement platform, as though he was telling, look, there's something about this electric post, there is something bad, and that should have happened from that, due to electricity. Some hint, some indication. So, Muthukumar says, of course, my shop was also damaged, true, but the damage was not much, and all the auspicious articles were left behind. They were not touched by the heat of the fire. The fire did not get inside, only the heat. And the heat did not touch all those auspicious things that he had kept there. The Rexing sofa, even that was spared. To his great surprise, it was Bhagwan's boundless grace that had protected everything in his absence. When he was there in Anandashram chanting Yogi Ramsuratkumar Nama and Ram Nam, it was Bhagwan who had saved most of the articles in his shop. So Muthukumar concludes that Bhagwan, when he appears as butterfly, he carries a message for the devotee, for the one who scrutinizes it, who looks at it sharply, who is very sensitive to Bhagwan, would know for sure the message. So this is news to us, for many of us. We simply look at a butterfly and then immediately we think it's Bhagwan, and then it is Bhagwan. And now, maybe if you look at it closely and sharply, you may find a message or two. One can never say what Bhagwan would do. I remember at this point, 2 days back, I had an email from Geetha of Madurai. She is the daughter of Vidhya Maami, a Anandashram devotee who stayed in Tiruvannamalai and enjoyed the divine company of Bhagwan Yogi Ramsuratkumar several times. She says that when they had visited once with some friend's family, that's a Leela, we will see that later on. When they went there, when Bhagwan left the group, he just raised his hand in benediction and declared, "You people can keep this beggar's portrait and sing the songs of praise of Meenakshi, the Divine Mother Meenakshi. My father, Shri Rama, will pour his blessings on you." Just see the portrait of Yogi Ramsuratkumar, the praises of Meenakshi in front of him, and it's Lord Rama who would bless them. Once again, it goes to show the names it forms might look different to us because we look at it with our intellect, with our buddhi. But when we look at it with devotion, pure devotion to the divine, we would see only one divinity in all of them. They are manifestations of the one divinity. So Rama, Meenakshi, Yogi Ramsuratkumar, they're all one and the same. Now this Bhagwan is here in front of us with raised hand in benediction, a smile on his lips, and of course one hand in constant japa to tell us he is now passing on this message eternally to us. That remember the name, remember the name. You just see my thumb, my closed hand. This is incessant japam of the name of the Lord. You do this, and what will you have? You look at my other hand, benediction, the divine blessings. So let's submit our today's prayer at His holy feet. Bhagwan, we pray to you again and again and again, 1,000,000 times, 1,000,000,000 of times, for your immediate divine intervention to free the entire humanity in general and India in particular, or any other country which is also suffering like India, from the dreadful clutches of this monstrous virus, and bring back normalcy, a dharmic normalcy in every aspect of life, everywhere. And Bhagwan, we beg you again and again for uprooting the panic from the hearts of people, which is causing more damage than the pandemic. And of course, we beg you again to arrest the rapid spread of the disease, to enter the medicines, make it work so that it would kill the entire clan of viruses, and all these people who are stranded outside the hospital for lack of oxygen, for lack of rooms in the hospital. We beg you to reach out to them with your grace so that they get whatever is needed by them, and they become well soon and return home safely. And again, all those people, the great, great warriors who sacrifice their own comforts of food and sleep, labor so hard day and night at the very risk of their lives in order just to save other lives. Please give them protection. Even without our begging you, you would be there in all appreciation, blessing them, pouring your showers of blessing. All the same, we beg you, for our own sake, for protection and all-round welfare, And we beg you again for a boost to our economy, and above all, constant remembrance of your name. Please bless us with the right attitude, the attitude of being a fitting instrument in your hand, not in the hands of Maya. And finally, please bless us with that purification, that transformation, so that we could see only your presence and your blessings in every happening of life, even in adversities of life. Every adversity also is God-given, and it's meant for our spiritual growth, and therefore it's a definite blessing. But then we need a certain preparation of mind to be able to see that for what it is. And please bless us with that. Jai Yogi Ramsuratkumar.
Yogi Ramsuratkumar